I saw him on the iron bench, where Oak Road leaves the town, the bench that overlooks the stream that feeds the mourner's sound. I stopped there often just to see the changing of the tide, to watch the ducks and seabirds feast and call their merry cries. His coat was worn and faded gray, his eyes looked far away, as if he viewed another place all shrouded in a haze, and spread out in a boundless space where one is never sure if he has looked that way before, or ought to look there more. And as I sat and caught a glimpse of his pale countenance, it made me think of many days and times that I have lived, and walked and breathed, and seen my face in dim reflections poor, but able in that nether light beyond that guarded door. How it was a shock to note the stranger looked like me. His twisted smile, though subtle made, betrayed that quality, the pain and doubt I pushed away where oft my days would end. Now I had thought he looked like me, but I am not like him. The iron sent a chill through me. His voice was cold and bare. He spoke of time and setting sun, of fall and winter's air. He held that every light must shine anew on every day, and perish in the ocean depths like bodies in their graves. And why I joined his morbid yarn I cannot fully know. I held my own that light was light, and that it ever shone. And in the corner of the sky where I am made to be, I am not less if I can feel in times I cannot see. He seemed to know my mind, my thoughts. His probing eyes were deep and shadowed by a sunken gaze so gaunt and wanting sleep, that my short days were counted. Now that fellow seemed to know, as one is privy to the fall and to the winter's snow. And one who never read a book is keen to guess its end. He knows that every plot is old, predating ink and pen. I shall see a warmer day, I spoke out to my friend, and where I'll sleep tonight is home, and none can tell me when. That sleep which I have often made of fitful wanderings will turn to peace and constant rest in realms of gilded streets. I'm afraid you've met a man so near that journey's end, he must insist men cast their vote, but only God says when. His jolly laugh was thin and weak. He said I had him wrong. He feigned his heart was full amused the joke had gone this long. What is this between us, man, but iron formed in heat, and cast in molds some years ago and stationed on this beach? This even air and chilling wind are common to our cause, and just like you, I've come to view the river rise and fall. But I was unconvinced at that, and why I sat there long I attribute to the setting birds, their sweet and even song. Now finally I spoke out loud and posed this point of faith, that David's son had suffered on this earth and met his death, and yet in glory realms of light is seated at the hand of David's king, and calls his host by order and command. The wind was up a little then, the ducks were in the tide, their churning feet put up a muck like gray clouds passing by. He thought and thought, my weathered host, an odd chance meeting here, with iron, wind, and riverbed, and morning, death, and fear. You talk a talk, he said to me, when time had lingered on, and sent its hour to the bells which tolled the setting sun. But might it be the living never contemplate the grave, that if they let it settle in, they'd surely be afraid? Tell me why the darkness holds the terror of the night, and why the brave turn cowards at the quenching of the light. Do you really think, my friend, it's for the known they quake, like new-hatched chicks that gather o'er a foal on wobbly legs? No, it's for the untold things, the unimagined dread. It's the horror none have seen that haunts the nearly dead. The stranger then turned slightly from his view of mourner's sound, A glimmer seemed to cross his face and twist his constant frown. It baffled me that all these days I'd stopped to rest and view the murky tide and sat nearby its course of grayish blue. Its surface gives its secrets to the watchers seated there, held in hidden valleys cut across its silty floor, erratic boulders buried in the times of ancient days, and pressed to hold the water from its dreary, settled ways. Mystified, I tried to hide the valleys of my soul, and leave no sign to read of pain that I had lately known. For at that moment in my life I'd hoped to find a friend. This demon shows up on the bench where I've often been, the only living thing to find save duck and seabirds all, and some winged insects lingered from the summer to the fall. I know what's next, I said in time. The hour was getting late, and eerie light now crossed the sand, dark green like polished jade. I know I'll close my eyes to light and open them again, and then the sun who went ahead will show me where to stand. I've read about the valley, friend, the shadow all men face, but always there's a shepherd there to guide them through that place. Evil is a conquered thing to those of us in faith. I understand the rights of those who die in saving grace. I'll have to say that fellow on the bench who sat with me batted not an eye to hint that he was listening. He only grinned, I take it thus, but if I had to say just what the smirking, frowning face was meant then to convey, I'd only hazard to assess this man I knew from Joe somehow hated strangers that he didn't even know. We lingered, and I thought to change the subject of our fare. Perhaps I'd ask him of his home and family waiting there. The ducks were quiet now, the only sound that broke the still were gurgles from the mourner's song, the river's nickname here. Then finally the old man spoke, but now his voice had changed. He fairly hissed his labored words as though he were in pain. Do you like this sound, frail man? And do you like the birds? Is this bench and is this town a place that you prefer? I can see you've never wandered in a bleak and arid land, like the desert place where God dug up his precious man, then gave him breath and took him from that hell to Eden's plain, the verdant lap of luxury the devils all disdain. But death is where you Adam's boys are meant to hit the wall. Ever talked to someone, man, who died, then came to call? Know first there's pain and weariness, a want of sleep and rest. A weight is set upon your chest and talons round your neck. You die 1,000 times, old boy, your family standing by, but that you care one whit for them, I couldn't tell you why. We listen to the moaning and the end of breath and time. He leaves this paradise to find the afterlife's a lie. He chuckled then, a laugh that if resentment were a nail, he'd hammered it through plank and board to pierce the gates of hell. And then the beast tossed back his head and shook with gleeful mirth. I'm sure that when I glimpsed his face, tears fell from it to dirt, that happened to lie gravely on the shoulders of his coat and form the pools of mud one finds in ancient castles' moats. And I was taken quite aback, unable then to speak. How had our conversation come so quickly to this mess? For my intent was just to rest in traveling home that night, a dying man with maybe months to set his home aright. Pain was all that I had known since early winter's end, and right up to the moment when I took the bench with him. This ghoulish man I thought would be a neighbor in this time, when I could hope to find some strength from someone warm and kind. But no, this man I knew from Joe had something in for me. I'd just as soon he vanished from my life and let me be. In failing light I visited one last and desperate note up on the ears of that old man, his gray and muddy coat. I don't know how you know these things. You fairly read my mail. You sit here posing as a friend, like snow that's really hail. But I can take a joke and see that you're a joker, man. And if I make this point my last, I hope you'll understand. I've had enough of deserts, and I've had enough of mud. I am sick to death of dying, and I weary of your love. The love you seem to have of all that ends its breath and light, and looks with gleeful fits of cheer into the constant night. Well, now a betting fool am I, and look, my ire is up. Old man, I see your death and pain, and now I raise you. Blood! Just then I heard an eerie sound like screams from far away. They seemed to come from that man's throat, but smothered, weak, and faint. Then slowly, what a horrid sound, it grew in pitch and strength, and I could see he trembled like a house in violent wind. His eyes were like the fires of two suns in distant space, their light all bent and strange, much as a beast glares from its cage. He seemed to draw the breath from me, inhaling as to speak. The setting birds and slacking tide were seashells on a beach, where ocean waves draw back into a vast and fitful sea, only to return again to drown their hordes beneath. But quick as fire and sound had reached its point of breaking forth, like vats of molten stone pierced through the riven crust of earth, the monster or the man, for I could tell not spawned from sun, rather reined his fury in, evincing fits of calm. And when he spoke, he spat his words as rain is born in air, to distant dry and heated earth, and dropped to sizzle there. You humans make a mess of things, from your first hour till now. You drink the water flowing as you find it on the ground. The air you breathe you squander like a useless spoiled child, as if the stuff was made in endless measure in the clouds. The sun he made to radiate the perfect kind of heat. You sons of clay lie worshipping its rays on lawn and beach, as if you know the night will come and after that the day. It must be nice to snooze like babies who were rocked to sleep that way. That way he always looks at you, the perfect little gems. No wonder, since your likeness is the spitting one of him. Then I felt a chill draft move across the sound to me. The old man shivered oddly, from his fingers to his teeth. He seemed more ghoulish now. The pallor of his skin was gray. He looked right through me to observe some vision far away. It should have been your end, he said. The tree, the thorns, the curse. And Cain was quick to kill the lad who offered gifts of flesh. It made the devils worry, though we could not make out why. It was something in the sound of earth cried out to crimson sky. That dying sun all smeared so grave an audience to that sound. The innocence of Abel fell to freshly moistened ground. Don't you see the shudder, boy, that rocked to the gates of hell? How that bawling baby should have warned us off the kill. But demons lose their faculties when death is thick and near. It's something in the revelry, the dancing, and the jeers. We should have seen it coming, how the man was so like him, the one they named for Moses' aid and Caleb's stubborn friend. His eyes, his face, the way he talks, the flesh that housed his soul, and how he cried in Bethlehem the night that he was born. His mother cleared the gore away. His skin was pink and warm. His voice seemed too familiar as he lay there in her arms. Now I could see the agony exude from that felled frame. I noticed then and there the devil, couldn't say his name. But in his sunken eyes a look betrayed that he had seen the beaten, bloody form of him who hung on Calvary's tree. And now in light so failing soft yet eerie on the sound, its gray illuminations cast like ghosts all gathered round, and peering into solemn depths where stricken sailors lay, all hoping that their breath will hold on resurrection day. He shuddered as he gathered strength to utter one word more. The devil's pained confession laid so gaunt on that dark shore. I saw him hesitate and look around in fear, or something that I took to mean he thought his end was near. I can tell you do not know. It's never crossed your mind why he donned the stinking flesh of rotting humankind, why he let the hammers fall, the lash, the spear, the thorns. His beard was soaked a gruesome red, his face and legs and arms. And you don't see they never do this race of Adam's skin. It's really all the crimson underneath that counts with him. You're quite alone, I hope you know, with birds and sheep and cows. Pity how you failed to note from Eden until now. You see we demons lie, and steal we curse and spit and cry. Hell, my friend, is brimming full of all your human vice. We plan and hope, we think and feel like all of Adam's seed. But did you ever notice, man, we demons never bleed? Then he vanished. Full away the iron bench was cold, there where he had sat speaking not a moment's time before. And yet some hours more had passed, and I could not recall how long I'd been alone before the sun fell on the sound. I blinked my eyes and cleared my throat. Its warmth crept to my soul. I hadn't felt this rested now for days and weeks and more. Old Mourner's song was joyful then, the tide had run out far. The ducks and other birds put up a chorus of joyful calls. And so I walked away from there and made my way along. I thought to ponder all my fears, but couldn't think of one. The note I heard about the blood seemed settled, sealed, and done. And whither I should roam from there, I knew I'd end up home.